Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. I hope all of our American viewers and listeners had a wonderful 4th yesterday. Today, I've got something a little bit different. We're jumping into Am I the Butthole? But I need you guys to comment down below after each one and let me know what you think. Let's jump right in. This one comes to us from Guilty Oven 2939. Am I the butthole for asking my parents to please leave the parenting of their grandson up to me and my wife, yet not doing the same with my in-laws? Ugh. Let's jump right in. I, 26 male, have a 3-month-old son with my wife, 24 female. He's our first child. I have a good relationship with my parents, however, they, especially my mom, have a difficult time respecting my boundaries, and they were a bit overprotective of me growing up. I am their only child, so naturally they are going to feel protective of me. While I wouldn't go as far as to describe my mom as a helicopter parent, she seemed to have a hard time allowing me to make mistakes. She would want to have a say in anything I was doing, and offer advice whether I wanted it or not. When I was little, this was totally understandable, but as I grew up it became very annoying. When I moved out, I told her that now that I'm grown up, she needs to respect my boundaries as well as accept that I might do certain things differently from how she does. I've requested that she please ask me if I want help or advice with something and to please respect my wishes if I say no. She seems to have a very hard time with this. She'll reluctantly say she'll try to do that, but honestly, I don't think she's making enough effort. We've argued about this many times. It really feels like she doesn't trust me. When my son was born, I asked both of my parents to please leave the parenting up to me and my wife, and if we need help, we'll ask. They agreed, though my mom seemed reluctant, not surprised. Now, I didn't think it was my place to ask my in-laws to do this because they're her parents, not mine. I told her that if she would like her parents' help and advice with raising our son, it was fine with me, and the decision of how much or how little involvement her parents had was up to her. I am also more comfortable with my wife's parents because she's the youngest of 4 children, and therefore they have more experience as parents. They know when it's appropriate to offer help and when they should take a step back. Anyways, today we're having a barbecue for the 4th of July. We invited both of our families. It was the first time we've all been in the same room since our wedding. My mom saw how much my in-laws were helping with our son, feeding him, changing him, putting him down for a nap, etc. They're mainly doing this because my wife is busy in the kitchen. My parents took me aside and asked why I want my in-laws' help but not theirs. I told her the reasons. Dad took it pretty well. He enjoys being a fun grandpa, but my mom is very hurt. Now I feel bad. I was looking forward to a fun day with our families, but now I'm feeling guilty. My mom basically is just standing around doing nothing and looks hurt. My feelings of wanting her to leave the parenting up to me and my wife hasn't changed, but I don't know how to express this without upsetting her. Honestly, I'm kinda wishing everyone would just go home. Am I the butthole for telling my parents to leave the parenting up to me and my wife, yet leaving the decision on how much my in-laws are involved up to my wife because I didn't feel it was my place? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Gordy Hippo. It says, "It's one thing to say that you want your parents to stay out of any parenting decisions, but it sounds like you've pretty much asked them to not lay their hands on your son. Feeding and changing are basic care. Why can't they help with that? It sounds like your mom is trying to stay within the boundaries you've set, but is upset that your in-laws don't have the same or any boundaries. I can understand why she's upset. Your children are your parents' only chance to be grandparents, and you've decided they're not going to get much of a chance to do anything. You complain that your mom was too controlling in your childhood. It seems the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Find a better balance. You're the butthole." Another commenter down below called Worldly Science is on the other side of this one. It says, "I'm going to go with not the butthole. Some people don't know when to quit, so it's best not to let them get started. It could also be in how the advice is delivered. We tried to let all of our parents do the same things with our son, but it wasn't working out. Some weren't good with safety, some ignored how we wanted things done, etc. It sounds more like your mom doesn't treat you as an adult, or at least struggles to, and your wife's family doesn't have that issue. That is going to cause some problems. I would maybe sit down with your mom and tell her as she gets better with understanding and respecting boundaries, you two, 3 with your wife, can reevaluate what you're comfortable with. So now let's bring this one down to the audience. Do you agree with commenter number 1, where OP is the butthole because the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree? Or do you agree with commenter number 2, where OP is not the butthole because mom is being overbearing? Let me know in the comment section down below. This one comes to us from Strict Limits 9377. Am I the butthole for stopping payments on my child's apartment and not paying for their way to our family vacation? I have several children and their mother is no longer in the picture. While raising them as a single parent, I've always told them that I will pay for their college so they won't graduate with debt. But there are strings attached. The main one is that they have to pick degrees that will support their lifestyle. The other main stipulation is that I will continue to support them for a year after when they are on their own. My eldest graduated last year with a degree with which I wholeheartedly disagree. We've had heated discussions about their career choice while they were in school, but I was unsuccessful at getting this child to change their mind due to their passion for this field. They are now working in a field that pays about $65,000 a year with a career ceiling of approximately $85,000. There is not a path to make more in this career in our city and state. I bought them a car as a graduation gift and have been paying for the insurance and maintenance. I've also allowed this child to use my account at the grocery store. I've also been paying my child's $5,000 a month apartment rent and utilities since last year, and now their lease is coming up and they want to re-sign it. When they came to me a couple of days ago, I reminded them it's been a year and now they're on their own. We got into a heated discussion which boils down to they can't afford to live in the city while working at their jobs. They would have to move so far out that they'll have to find another job during a time when the market is not great. I refused to budge as they knew this was coming, and I wanted to make sure my other kids know I'm serious about them earning their own way through life. During our discussion, I dropped the other shoe that they're responsible to pay their own way from now on, which includes our family reunion vacation next summer. They argued there's no way they can afford to pay for everything, including a 2-week vacation in Europe, on their salary, and begged me to reconsider. I refused. This child called their grandparents, aunts and uncles, my parents' sisters and brothers to try to get them to change my mind. My other kids are staying out of it, but the rest of the family is even split. Half thinks I should continue to pay since I can easily afford to, while the other half agrees with my sink or swim decision. Am I being too strict? Jumping down to the comment section, we have one from a user called Callie the Blaze. It says, I'd say pay for the family vacation if family is important to you. Vacations are a luxury, and so is family time with your adult kids. Your generation has significantly better earnings than your children's generation. If the point of a family vacation is family time, shouldn't you want your kids to be able to come? Is it really family time if some of the family gets left behind when you can easily bring them? Side note, my parents did well financially and they still pay for my sister and I to join on family vacations because we weren't as lucky as they were. I'm turning 40 this year. My parents believe the point of family vacations is for us to be together, and we'd be very limited on where we could go and for how long if my sister and I were paying our own way. My husband and my nephew are included in this. As for the apartment, it sounds like you were quite clear about the terms of your support, and your daughter had plenty of warning that she needed to learn to live within her means. So I think greatly scaling back or ending your support for her basic living expenses makes sense. I'm finding myself wondering where the last year's salary went without housing costs to pay. So not the butthole for the apartment, but think about what the purpose of a family vacation is for your family. Another commenter called VisibleT2734 brought up a really good point. It says, mixed, you're the butthole and not the butthole. You're the butthole for not teaching this person how to function on their own and for paying for everything for all this time. But not the butthole for cutting the purse strings now. You must do that, and I think it's the most irresponsible thing wealthy people do to their children. Not teach them how to finance their own lives without their parents' money. I have a feeling I know what the comment section's gonna look like for this one, so let's see it. Comment down below whether you think OP is a butthole or not the butthole in this case, or do you divide it up like the second commenter did, where OP is the butthole for not teaching their kids how to function on their own, and they're not the butthole for cutting them off because they gave them so much notice. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This one comes to us from Exotic Struggle 9874. Am I the butthole for having an outburst at my girlfriend's little sister and banning her from staying with us? This situation sucks and I need a third-party perspective. I've lived with my girlfriend Sarah for 2 years now. Sarah has a 16-year-old sister, Tara. Tara lives with their parents, but Sarah and Tara have a very rocky relationship with their parents. Nothing too bad, but it's toxic nonetheless. For the last 6 months or so, Tara has begun staying over at the apartment that me and Sarah share. I've always been somewhat uncomfortable with this, mainly because it's common for Sarah, who works from home, to let Tara skip school and come spend the day with her. She says it's better than her being on the streets, but I digress. My biggest problem is that Tara trashes the place and has no respect for me. Tara does not like me. I don't know why. Sarah does not know why. She is incredibly disrespectful to me and my things, eats my food despite being told not to on a nearly weekly basis, and borrows things from the apartment with no intent to ever return them. I've been at my wit's end over this for the last month, and I feel like Tara is testing my limits more and more. I've talked to both of them and let them know if something doesn't change soon, I will lose my cool. But every conversation ends with Sarah committing to things that never happen, and Tara being non-committal or just disinterested in my feelings. It came to a head Friday. Sarah had gotten off work early and left Tara alone. I came home to the place absolutely trashed. This I could handle. What I could not was that Tara had pulled out some of my vinyl to listen to, scratched them to crap, and just left them out on the table and ground when she got bored. When I confronted her and asked her what happened, she just shrugged her shoulders and said nothing. I absolutely lost it. I told her exactly what I thought of her, how she was selfish, ungrateful, lazy, and downright unpleasant. I made the comment that if this is how she is at home, I now know why her parents don't want her in their house. I could tell she was taken off guard by my yelling, and the parents' comment caused her to start crying. I kicked her out and told her not to come back. Sarah lost it and we fought. We've been pretty cold since then. She's talking about moving out, but at this point, I'm starting to consider that myself. Last night, however, Sarah finally decided to tell me that Tara tried to run away last year, and she made a deal with her that our apartment could be her safe space whenever she needed it, so she didn't run away again. I still don't feel like this makes what she did right, but at the same time knowing this, I'm starting to feel bad. Am I the butthole? Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Solid Cordon. It says, not the butthole. Your girlfriend didn't tell you that she was declaring your home a safe space, and did nothing to encourage Tara to behave like a guest rather than a squatter. Tara needs more than just a safe space. Safe space doesn't mean you can trash the place. I couldn't find a comment saying that OP is the butthole, so let's go to this one from user OKKnee1216 that says, girlfriend is the butthole. She cannot decide safe space without talking to her SO. Alright, so down in the comment section below, who's the butthole in this case? Sarah or Tara? Let me know what you guys think. This one comes to us from Trash Girlfriend. Will I be the butthole if I go on vacation instead of my brother's wedding? Ooh, okay. My brother Tom, 36 male, and I, 26 female, have never had a really solid relationship. Due to our age gap, we didn't spend much time, and by the time I was old enough to develop a personality, he was moved out of the house. For the last 2 years, my brother and his fiancée Sarah, 32 female, have been planning their wedding, and it's coming up in September. I was asked to be a bridesmaid. I figured I was only asked as a courtesy since I'm her soon-to-be sister-in-law, but I still took it seriously. I have been a bridesmaid for the last 2 years. Just a few weeks ago, I managed to save up to buy the $800 bridesmaid dress. Overall, in the last 2 years, between group outings to parties, dinners, lunches, clothes, etc., I spent thousands of dollars. Eventually, all the girls in the wedding and I became extremely close, and I started to get hyped for the wedding. Sarah recently got close with her brother's wife Becky, 30 female. Last week she dropped the ball on me that she no longer wants me to be a bridesmaid and she would prefer if Becky would take my place. It broke my heart a little, but it's her wedding and it's not my place to tell her how to run it. So I said it was fine. Yesterday, I went to my brother's house to pick up the bridesmaid's dress and was going to see if I could return it since it was within the time frame. Sarah was completely appalled and said that Becky was going to wear it since she and I are the same size. I said that would be fine, but they would have to pay me the $800 for it. Sarah said that Becky couldn't afford and I should just be nice and let her use it, and said that I could keep it after the wedding. I explained that I'm not just giving away the dress, and I'm not ever going to use it after the wedding. After some bickering back and forth, I just ended up taking it and leaving. My brother and Sarah tried to compromise with me and say I could be the assistant flower girl, and I felt offended at the offer. After I said no, then they said that Becky could give me $250 for it. Again, no, and I returned the dress and got a full refund. I told them I understand that it's their wedding, but they are being extremely disrespectful to me, and I don't need to deal with it, and I'm not going to the wedding. Today, my coworker says she has an extra round-trip plane ticket to go to Miami that she'll sell to me for half price. Plus, I would have to pay for half the hotel, and I can go hang out with her in Florida. The only downside is that I'll be in Florida for the week of my brother's wedding. So, will I be the butthole if I just go party in Miami instead of going to my brother's wedding? Jumping down to the comments on this one, we have one from a user called AntiMam69. It says, "Not the butthole. Go to Miami. A wedding is not an event where a soon-to-be sister-in-law and your own brother crap all over you and you smile and take it." Another commenter down below called Crystal Queen 3000 says, "Not the butthole. They treated you with such disrespect that even if you didn't have a better offer, not going to the wedding is still the right choice." And one more from the comment section, SlightBar534 says, "Not the butthole. Take the $800 from the dress return, buy a couple new bathing suits, and enjoy Miami." I can pretty much guarantee that nobody is going to say that OP is the butthole, but if you can find some reason in this story to say that OP is, I'd love to see it in the comment section down below. But let me know what you think. Is OP the butthole or is OP not the butthole? And should they just go enjoy their time in Miami? I think they should, but what do you think? Check out all 4 OPs linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.